Well, hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of a StoneWall's Perspective podcast. I'm your host, Alexander Stone. I'm on a mission to spread the light of the gospel into every aspect of life. And yes, I did say every, including the things that people do not like to talk about, such as politics. In today's episode, I have a special guest with me today. He is someone who is getting involved in his local level, and he is a professional rhino hunter. He not RHINO, it is RINO, Republican in name only. Please welcome my good friend Josh. How are you doing today?
I'm well, man. Thank you for having me on here, Alex. I appreciate it very much.
Well, I'm honored to have you on. I've been kind of watching you and what you do for a while now with Missouri Rhino Watch, and so before we talk about local action and what you do at Missouri Rhino Watch, can you really tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do, and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, it was all by happenstance. Um, when I was earlier this year, really, when everything went down as far as the stolen election and whatnot. Before that, I got involved in the committees, and then from the committees, I realized that I had to figure out my niche, I guess you could say. And I have a history in marketing and sales and media. I realized one of the biggest things that we were lacking was an actual conservative media outlet that was focused on reporting the truth. And then the more I dug into our situation in Missouri, the more I realized that the biggest thing we needed was accountability for our own party. And right around February 2nd, 2222, I wrote my journal. Lord gave me a word about being, all of us being repairers of the breach and that we needed to get involved. And, I said, okay, Lord, let it be so. And then I did my first expose on Telegram Live. Happened to have some senators from the state who were actually great conservatives that I don't know how in the world they found out about it, but they did. Got on it, heard what I did, made some connections, and then I literally fell right in the middle of the grassroots movement and found out that was really the only media person doing specifically politics with an accountability aspect for Rhino. So
Hmm.
it kind of just ballooned from there. A buddy of mine reached out, and we had he has a studio, and he said, "Hey man, why don't we just do a show and see what happens?" And then we did about 11 shows, and then that was just something that, again, it was off the cuff, and I realized that I needed to take it on my own so that I wouldn't have to be beholden to their schedule or vice versa. And really, that's what brought us here today.
Wow, well, that's phenomenal, and I'm glad that you've been getting involved locally and really calling out and keeping people accountable, because that's exactly what we need in the United States of America. I'm wearing a shirt right now. It says "Save America, Vote Republican," and it's come to the point where that's not just enough. Because there are many people who say that they're Republican but really aren't. They are rhinos. They are Republican in name only. They don't hold to the values that we hold to as conservative Christians, and it's time that we stand up against that and start to speak out. And that's exactly what you have done. And I'm very happy about that. One of the things that General Flynn talks about very frequently is that local action equals a national impact. And
Yep.
that's exactly what I want to encourage each and every one of you to do today. I've talked about local action a lot in my podcast, especially in Branson. I had like 3 or 4 people who were getting involved locally, um, to help make a difference. And that's exactly what we need to do as Christians, as patriots, as believers in Christ, and believers in this country. Because if not, our country is at stake. And I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose America. America is worth fighting for, and it's time that we call out these kinds of people. Say what call them for what they are, which is indeed a rhino.
Yeah. Well, and you're right, man. It's not enough just to get a Republican elected, because I just went through my first intense, election season. The primaries were an eye opener of how divisive things can be, and then the general election in itself. And what I realized, man, and talking to other patriots across the state, or I'm sorry, across the nation, even every state is the same. Every state is the same system that has been something that good, hardworking folk like you and I, and all those other ones out there have just not been involved in, because for one, it didn't seem interesting, and for two, we've kind of been educated to believe that it's not our place, and we allow these people to kind of run off with all of our money and our future. And
Mhm.
the more I realized when I get involved, they talk with big words and they say all these seemingly fantastic things, but it's really just a bluff. Most of the people that are in office don't know what they're doing. They're
Yep.
being led around by special interests, and no one's holding them accountable. And what's funny is when you push back, they don't know how to handle it because they've never been challenged before. And so the biggest thing though is like what you said, it's the Christians. Like real, true, God-fearing people need to get into the fight. And it doesn't matter if you go to church or not. If you have the word of God and you have focus on doing what's right, he can lead you in all this. And really, it is up to us. I met a guy from a ministry, or really, it's a political action group called Cup of Salt. So you can go to cupofsalt.org, and it's actually his whole goal is to get pastors involved because the church is the biggest demographic in the nation, no matter which way you cut it. And he said something: if you get like a 5 to 10% lift in engagement from the church, we would never lose again. And that's really one of the biggest missions is, by example, kind of going out there and wrecking my head against the wall and figuring out what does and doesn't work. Taking like Trump says, slings and arrows, nowhere near what he has. But when you speak up and you come against their system, they're going to say something, but in the end it validates you. And be bold and forthright, and the bold and forthright will gather around you. And we need to do it together. There is no single person. It is 100% a team effort, just like the church is the body of Christ. We have to unite together.
Oh, that's exactly right. Though we do have to unite and get together, and the church has, kind of been slacking on what we are supposed to do to save this country, which is getting involved in voting, and going to your, whether it be going to your local school board or um, anything else as far as it is locally. We need to get involved, and one of the
Right.
things that General Flynn says, and I said it just a few minutes ago, is that local action leads to national impact. And so I'm gonna share this video that General Flynn and I got to do together in Oklahoma just a few days ago, um, and we're gonna listen to this right now. What do you think about that?
It's pretty awesome, man. It's phenomenal that you had the opportunity to get up close and personal with him and hear, that guidance. And being around him, it really, that whole experience in that workshop really helped change me, to be honest with
Mhm.
you, and kind of put a fire under me, because seeing those people, I mean, we were one person removed from President Donald Trump, right? The leader of the free world. And we saw the fire in these guys' eyes and the commitment. And I also saw how, I looking at Mike Lindell and seeing how tired this man was, but he wasn't giving up, and being willing to pour into us like they were, and to stand there and to take those questions and to do those interviews, really spoke to me of that. Basically, they are generals looking at the army, and if we don't get involved the way that they prescribed, and really go after it with the gifts God's given us, you know there is no hope. When we see all the things that are happening right now, with the World Economic Forum and everything that Clay discussed, which was, for anybody else, would have probably been pretty despairing, but that hope of his calling, right? And that's
Mhm.
what the biggest thing is. If we get involved, we stay involved. Like General Flynn was saying, make that impact, change things from the ground up. We have the possibility to win back what's been stolen from us.
No, you're exactly right, and I like how you talked about the hope of his of our calling. Ephesians, it talks about that, and I have the book right in front of me. I can't reach it right now, but it's called "Believer's Authority" by Kenneth Hagin, and he talks about this, the hope in our calling that we have as believers, and so it's going to look different for all of us, and we don't have the same calling, um, as far as getting involved locally, but all of us have a calling, and we are all supposed to go towards that, and it seems like a lot of people aren't, and that's a problem. My next question for you, Josh, um, is really, how do you vet people? Because right now you're involved in Missouri, and you are locally involved, and your thing is Missouri Rhino Watch, and so you're looking up and down the people who are running for office. How do you vet people to make sure that they are who they say they are, or if they are a rhino or aren't a rhino?
Yeah, well, what's cool is I actually team up with a bunch of really great patriots. One of them being Laura Tipton at United for Principle Politics. So it's UPP, and they really go through rigorous vetting processes of really just asking what the foundational principles are for a Republican. But right now, it's easy for anybody to do it, and you just take the things that we know have been such an infringement on our rights. Are you for vaccine mandates? Are you for lockdowns? Right? Do you feel like parents should have control over their children's education? Do you think these books that are in these schools should be banned? You know, what do you feel about a globalist society? What do you feel about Ukraine? All of these different things really just kind of figure out. A lot of the times, what I realize is these people aren't so much um, rhinos. Now there's usually a top tier of rhinos, but the rest are ignorant followers. And if they
Mhm.
don't know what's going on in Ukraine, if they don't understand the dangers of these vaccines, if they don't understand the detriment of lockdowns, and that public health overrides the sovereignty of an individual, then they are dangerous, because they are so uneducated, and they can be swayed by higher powers, because they'll look at these people and that they'll think that they're the ones that are the leaders, instead of using their critical thinking and understanding what's really going on.
Mm. No, that's exactly right. It seems like there are a lot of people who are ignorant. Last month when I was in Branson, Missouri for the Reawaken America tour, I was wearing a Mark Alford shirt because I've been able to become friends with him, and have him on my show before, and so I kind of hid that because I knew that you probably weren't fond of the guy, um, but I
Well,
thought
I'm
that was
not.
kind of funny,
I'm not.
that.
I'm not. I'm not anti Alfred at all. I
Mm,
just, like, what I realize is, like, in my position, I'm not here to make friends with them.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like, someone's got to hold their feet to the fire. Someone's got to be the heel, if you will, so that no one else has to be. And
mm,
with Alfred, the one thing that I mean, I'm not actually not against him at all. I'm really kind of hopeful for him.
mhm,
But a lot of the things that happen, there's rumor through Ryan Salome that he received money from FTX, but so did Eric Schmidt, and so did Herschel Walker, and so did a lot of people. And you got to realize, like, you also got to be logical. It's really easy to get emotional on these things, but just because they received a donation from somebody does not mean that they are beholden to them. And the difference is, is, when you're running a senatorial campaign or congressional house campaign, you're receiving millions of dollars, and it's not you who's taking that money, and it's your treasurer, and your treasurer doesn't have the time to dig into every single pack that gives you money and donates to you, because if they did, they'd be stuck for days. And these guys who donate this money, they're very slick too, and what they'll do is they'll actually create a pack that sounds really good out of nowhere, and you got to do some serious digging. So with Alfred, I'm not against him at all. I'm actually very hopeful for him,
Mhm.
because he's new and he's made some promises, and if he keeps them, then that's excellent. But it's just a balance, right? It's like everybody needs to know, as far as a politician goes. With me, I will praise what you do right, and I will call out what you do wrong, because I think that's my place. And it's almost like outside of politics and outside of those things, do what you want to do. But there's a Missouri GOP platform. It's very, very easy to understand what is and what isn't okay to do based on that platform. And, you just be objective about it. And every now and then I take a shot across the bow, and some people decide, hey, it's probably not worth going this direction, even though maybe my special interests are telling me. My
Mhm.
constituents are going to see everything I do. And based off of that, my hope is to actually help them by holding their feet to the fire, because those influences out there in Jeff City for us here in the state, or in DC, they're strong. you know and so if we can stand with them and give them some guidance and some tough love, then I hope that works out in all of our favor.
That's exactly right, and I think I'm hopeful for him too. When I had him before I had him on my show, I was actually very concerned, just because of the echo chamber that I was in, just hearing this, that, and the other. But then after interviewing him, I was very hopeful, and I still am very hopeful. I've been able to talk with him, both on air and off air, and so I do have hope for Alford, that he will be a good candidate, and that, well, he will be a good congressman as well. And so, I'm gonna send this podcast to David Whited from Flyover Conservatives. I don't know how you feel about this, but I want him to run for governor, because I think he'd be one heck of a governor. And so David, if you're listening to this, please run for governor, because you're actually going to do something, and we know that you won't turn your back on us. So just a thought. I've been in the governor's mansion. It would be a great place to do your show from if you have time. Stacy can do it from the show. It's a phenomenal place, and so,
You know,
well,
it's actually good. We actually have, and no slight to David, he knows this for sure, but we actually have some hope, Alex. So this guy named Senator Bill Eigel, right?
Mhm.
He's the first person. He's running for governor. We are the first state in the nation to have a bill filed to get rid of the machines and go back to hand marked paper ballots and hand counting, and this guy did it. So we actually have an opportunity to transition this state, even from the top down, if we can get this governor in. In fact, I think it'd be somebody to be awesome to have on your show as well, because he's a Christian man. He's got a conservative record for the last 6 years, and he's actually fighting for us moving forward. And he knows what's awesome about it. He knows without a shadow of a doubt that he has to have the grassroots on his side, or there's no way he's going to beat the establishment.
And what was his name again?
Is Senator William Eigel, but they call him Bill.
Wonderful. Okay, that's awesome. That is so good. So if David doesn't run, then we should all vote for him,
Right on.
instead. So Josh, thank you so much for coming on this episode of my podcast, of a Stonewall's Perspective. It's been an honor talking to you. It's been an honor to become friends with you, just at campaign events um, for different people, at Reawaken events, and Clay events. And I am surely going to have you back on my show soon, and you don't want to miss it. So God bless you. God bless you, Josh. God bless all of my listeners. And before you go to mypillow.com/Stonewall. That is mypillow.com/Stonewall. And you can get a discount of up to 66% off of your order. That is mypillow.com/Stonewall. And you can get a discount of up to 66% off of your order. Share this podcast with 5 people. Let them know that you want them to get involved in the local level. And I believe that will change everything about the state of Missouri, and also the United States of America as well. Josh, thank you so much for being on this episode, and thank you all for listening. God bless you all, and goodbye.
Thanks, brother.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and due to your incredible support, the original My Slippers are almost completely sold out. As a special thank you, I am launching my brand new all-season slippers, slides, and sandals for as low as $29.98. This is a limited time offer, so go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code and you'll get all my new footwear for as low as $29.98. My all-season slippers are made with my exclusive 4-layer design that you won't find in any other slipper. They're finished with a breathable fabric so you can wear them all year round. And my new slides and sandals are made with patented impact gel, making them ultra comfortable and extremely durable. I guarantee they'll be the most comfortable footwear you'll ever own. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen now to get your very own all-season slippers, slides, and sandals for as low as $29.98 with your promo code. This is an introductory offer and it won't last long, so order now. Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and my employees and I want to thank each and every one of you for your support by bringing you the MyPillow that started it all. MyPillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs regardless of your sleep position. Because it works, we've sold over 70 million MyPillows, and now I'm bringing it to you for the lowest price ever. For example, you get my standard MyPillow, now only $19.88 with your promo code. Now's the time to get them for your friends, your family, your neighbors, everyone you know. MyPillows make the best gifts ever. In the times we're in, one thing we all need is getting a great night's sleep. So go to mypillow.com or call that number on your screen now. Use your promo code and you'll get my standard MyPillow for only $19.88. For a more custom fit, my Premium Queen, only $24.98. Or my Premium King, only $29.98. This is a limited time offer, so order now.